the chances are that if you're anything like me, and I think a lot of people go through this with any type of loss, is that you're going to keep being reminded of the one that of your ex or the person that you feel you've lost. And this can be like in anything. It can be that you'll see a white dress and then you'll remember a moment where she was wearing one, or you'll see a car and you'll remember him, or you'll see, this happened to me yesterday. I was riding. Oh, that's right. I had a cold shower and I remembered my ex, and because I used to do that a lot when I was at her place, and she used to have a really super cold shower. So it's totally natural, and it's very important to remember that, at least I believe that processing, and when I say processing, I mean actually thinking, yeah? Thinking, processing a breakup or anything like that is unavoidable, and it's not a bad thing. So I'm a believer in processing, and you have to process the breakup, and the mind just needs to think a lot about things. Like, it needs to just think about the why, the how, the what could have, all of this. It just needs to go through it. It's part of our biology, and it's there to help us because we are going to process what's happened, extract things that are going to help us in the future, and then move on. That's how it should work. But unfortunately, there's a lot of other issues involved with just the way we are, and the way we are in this society, that means that we are controlled a lot by our emotions, we're controlled a lot by our thoughts, rather than the other way around. Our thoughts should be used like as a catalyst to help us process experiences and then move on. We need to be using our thoughts to help catalyze and to help basically help our lives. Thoughts are almost like a secret magic button that you can press, and it will zap, process things, and then give us an answer, and we can use that answer to help us in the future. Now, unfortunately, most of us, what will happen is we will be driving around, and then maybe we'll see something that will remind us of our ex, and then we'll get into this, we'll start dwelling, we'll be sad, and we'll be like, oh, life sucks, and we'll kind of get into this whole moment of just being sad and feeling like a victim. Remember, you have to get out of this position of being a victim if you want to get over your ex and move on. You have to move away from being a victim. And one of the reasons why I actually really enjoy the subject matter of breakups in terms of doing discussions on why I focus on it so much is because a lot of our issues that we face in a breakup have a lot to do with everything in our life. So when I talk about, our emotions and thoughts controlling us after a breakup, it's even like if you're not in a breakup. Just in general, people have a lot of issues with this. So a lot of the breakup issues apply to just life in general. And I have found, at least with me, that so much of what I have learned as a result of my breakup, 80–90% of it is being applied to just my life in general. So processing is very important, and here's how it works, is every time you get reminded of your ex by seeing something, you might see a tree, a car, a cat, a dog, whatever, anything that will, you just get, it triggers a thought. And this is how our memory and our thoughts work. Our thoughts and memory works like a chain of thoughts, and we learn and remember things by association. So we won't remember one thing. That's impossible. we will remember a group of things. So we'll remember a name associated with an image, and a smell. So they're always in little groups, and they can be different groups of thoughts. So when you see one thing, it can immediately trigger something else, like a thought of your ex or whatever. When that happens, it's okay to like grieve it, to be sad for a little while, maybe be angry, whatever emotions arise, those are fine. But the important thing is to be aware at this point, and then to use your awareness to be like, okay, a thought has been triggered because I've been reminded of my ex. Now I have two options. I can either dwell on this and feel sorry for myself and be a victim, and remember the outcome of that is the outcome of that decision is that you're going to exercise those negative thoughts, which aren't going to help you, and you're going to just prolong everything, okay? You're going to allow thoughts to control you, and you don't want that. The other option is you'll see something, it reminds you of your ex. Okay, you can feel the sadness, feel the anger, whatever feelings arise, let them happen, and then use your awareness and guide yourself and be like, okay, that's happened, the breakups happened, yes, I miss my ex, it was great times, or it was bad times, whatever. Now I'm going to make a conscious decision to move on and get on with the rest of my day. Now, thing is, and that's taking control of your life, the thing is that you don't want to bury. That's a trap that you can fall in. You can see something that will remind you of your ex, and you'll be like immediately, no, can't think of my ex, need to bury that. No, that's not good, because you're basically you're prolonging the processing that needs to take place. Because then every time you're going to see that same thing, you're going to think the same thing's going to happen. But you need to process it, because once you've processed it, then the next time you see that same thing again, okay, maybe it might happen again that you might remember your ex, but it's more unlikely because you've processed it. And the whole going through your breakup is like, look, you spent every day with this person. You spent hours every day with this person for maybe months, years. And so you've had so many experiences with this person, and so many things are going to remind you of this person after you break up with them. Okay, so whenever one of these things comes up, and after you've broken up and you're reminded, let's call them triggers. Whenever a trigger comes along and reminds you of your ex, you want to process the trigger. You want to digest it. You don't want to bury it, and you don't want to let the trigger take you on a ride where you're just being a victim and feeling sorry for yourself and wasting time and exercising negative thinking. Okay, you don't want the negative thinking to take over. So every time triggers come along, you want to process them, and the more of them you can process, then the next time I'm going to take a cold shower, I'm not going to think of her because I've processed that already. Or if she does come to mind still, because those memories can sometimes take time, it's going to be a lot weaker than the first time. Okay, so that's one important tip that I would like to share with everyone. And awareness again is so important for catching these triggers, because if you don't have awareness, basically a trigger is going to come along and take you for a ride, and you're going to wind up spending maybe the whole day dwelling and thinking of your ex when you don't need to. Okay, so let's not be victims of our emotions and our thoughts. Let's take charge of them. And it requires some strength, it requires some discipline, and above all, it requires us to stand up and not feeling sorry, not being a victim. Okay, a very important step, one of the first steps towards moving on and getting over your breakup is to stop viewing yourself as a victim. So write that down and look at it every day. I must, not be a victim. Stop looking at yourself as a victim, because, it's just something that you can get into the habit of. And you don't want to get in the habit of. You want to get in the habit of not being a victim and standing up and being strong. All right, that's just one quick tip for now.